I may not have pushed them out, but you know something? They are my children.
I've never seen a sibling relationship like it.
If there are problems, everybody will know what those problems are, and there will be someone who can help you with those problems. The worst thing you can do is to not ask.
But yeah, that's the difficult bit, is that when you see the child that you want to be your son or daughter, you want them. You don't want to wait.
I think there's a myth around the fact that there's an upper age limit of when people can adopt and when they can't. And I think what people are surprised is that there's a lower age limit, which is 21, which is acceptable, but there isn't an upper age limit.
The other myth adopters have about adoption is that they have to be married, they have to have loads of money, and they have to be in a big house. And in actual fact, that isn't the case, yeah? You can be single, gay, yeah, or married. You don't have to be living in a big house, and you don't have to have loads of money.
Yeah.
You just have to be able to have the room to accommodate a child as they grow.
You kind of adjust your life and your routine to fit your new family.
I looked into it because I was coming up to 40, I was single and I wanted children. But I had always been brought up with adoption because I've got 2 cousins who are adopted. When I was approved, I then started looking through the Be My Parent book. Didn't quite like that process of looking for a kid, so I handed it back to Michael, my social worker. Then one day sent me an email with an attachment, and opened up the attachment and said, "That's my girl," and it was Leah. Where's little Leah? Where's little Leah? At the point I then saw Leah's profile, to the point that I was approved, was, I think in total it was about 8 months. So she had gone from baby to a kid that was crawling and just nearly on her feet. 6 months of the 8 months I was panicking, because I had in my mind that Leah was my daughter. We had 10 days together in Manchester in the foster carer's home, and then Leah was coming with me to London and we were going to be mum and daughter. And the foster carers are amazing. I still stay in touch with them, and I recommend that to anybody.
I love you.
I love you too.
I don't love you.
Oh, I'm going to drop you.
Mum.
My strategy is just be open. It's there. She's got, on her wall in her bedroom, she has a family tree, which includes biological MUM, which we can keep updating as time goes on. But I just think it's good that you've got a picture. I mean, kids see visual, don't they? And Leah knows her stories.
What story?
You know that biological mum asked Sharon and Alan to look after her and find her a forever mummy.
And that was you.
And that was me. I did give birth to her, number one. Same as any mother. I mean, life without them is just not even bear thinking about.
I think it's really important that adopters know that all the way through the process, whether they're going through assessments or whether they're being matched, that they have an allocated worker that supports them.
Natalie says in the video that she found it difficult to look through Be My Parent, and the social worker really helped her. Not just that, she had to wait 8 months, and the social worker really supported her through that time. I think that was really good for her.
But picking up on the point of 8 months, which is quite unique, it doesn't usually take that long.
Hopefully the current process would mean that that wouldn't happen. I think that's quite a unique situation. Hopefully an adopter wouldn't need to wait 8 months before a child is placed with them.
Come on now.
National Adoption Week was on the TV, and Lorraine Kelly was on saying, "Oh, you can be anything. You could be gay, you could be straight, you could be whatever you want. Anybody can adopt." And I was like, "Hey, let's have a look at this adoption. I'm going to give. What do you think?" Ed and I sat down and we said, "Okay, we'll have a look into this and see." But when we weighed it up morally, I think we felt that adoption was the route for us. So if you're looking at what we were told, we were looking at very minor problems, issues that would arise as the boys got older. Nothing to worry about now, no need for therapy in place, no need for full adoption support just yet. We would cover all that as and when the problems arose. Unfortunately for us, the problems arose as soon as the boys really started school. From that point on, the issues of a scale of 1 to 10 went off the chart. We then found the correct therapists, We had support put into place in school. Look at us now, we're coming on to our 3rd year, and there are still issues, there are still problems, but now we feel that we can cope. Yes, we had problems, yes, we asked for help, and yes, support was put into place. In reality, that has been what's helped to make this adoption successful. I mean, we've just got a puppy recently, and at one point I just turned around to this dog and I just screamed, "If you don't sit down, you are going back where you came from." And immediately from the table, this little voice sort of said, "Who's going back?" And I said, "The puppy's going back." "What?" And he went, "So we're not going back?" And afterwards, you know, I was in tears for the whole, punishing myself for the whole evening. And Ed was kind of like, "Well, you know, it's a saying. You just said something." He said, "The kids have forgotten about it now. You've talked to them about it and you've sat them down and said what you meant." Yeah, we're definitely a family now.
In the beginning, my partner actually didn't really want to have children. I kind of gave an ultimatum, really. So she decided that she wanted to have a family, so we would go down the adoption route. You walk in your house one day and there's nothing here, and then you walk in the next day and you've got 2 children and your life changes forever. I think you go through every emotion that you can possibly go through, I think. But you are literally terrified, excited, exhausted, everything. I think you just, everything. I mean, we were extremely lucky with the children we've got. You know, they are amazing children. You don't have the initial love that everyone talks about, the unconditional love that you have when they give birth to their own child.
In the beginning, I felt like I had more unconditional love for my dogs than I did for my children.
Because the dogs can't answer back, and the children, obviously we had older children, they come with voices and opinions.
At first, when we were decorating my room, was like, can I have fairies up on the walls?
Whereas when you have a little teeny weeny baby, and I think this is why a lot of adoptive parents want to go for babies, so that they can put their mark in. I think I idealised motherhood. There are some parts of it that are lovely. As you get more experience of being a mum, you learn to hold on to the happy times. By this point, we'd already taken them. Where had we been? We'd been to Disney, so you would have thought, oh, if anything's going to bring happiness, that might. It didn't. About a year and a half in, that was when I felt, okay, we're going to be a family and it's going to be good. You know, our influence is clearly seen now. From the way that they communicate, to their personal choices, to even what they kind of look like. I can just tell that they are happier, not every day, but more confident children. And that's my way of kind of gauging how I think they've changed and what we've done for them, really. But it does take some time. I wouldn't change it now for anything.
What's interesting about Mal and Michelle is that the 2 children that they had placed with them, because they were older children, they knew exactly what they were getting. Medically, they were healthy. Developmentally, they were very emotionally intelligent children. But adopters, for some reason, still always say that they want children that are much younger than that.
Yeah, and that's why it's so important that we give adopters as much information about children from every single age range, isn't it? So they can make an informed decision.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also about adopters understanding the impact that adoption, and especially adoption of younger children, will have on their lifestyle.
Yeah, and being prepared for that change.
Yeah.
I was a late first-time mum. I was 40. Just somehow assumed that to add to our family would not be an issue. And then when we did try again to have a family, it was just miscarriage after miscarriage. I still wanted to grow my family, but it wasn't going to happen in the conventional way. We didn't find her, social services did. Our eldest daughter was beside herself with joy and pride at having a little sister, which is what she wanted. The initial first few weeks when she was back home with us was the honeymoon period, if you like. She slept 12 hours plus every night. She ate everything put in front of her. She was very quiet, very compliant. But I think even then there was a sense that she was really holding back. And the way she would demonstrate her anger would usually be physical, and especially towards our older daughter. Scratching, kicking, hair pulling. And to give my eldest daughter all due credit, she never retaliated in a physical way. I did seek support when Grace was displaying this kind of physically challenging behaviour. They have her back up until she's 18, I believe. And we can, and would, if necessary, seek professional help if we needed to. But so far, we seem to be managing okay.
Usually when she's like in the mood, I usually show her how to do stuff that she doesn't know.
And between them, they've found this place, which is just the love story at the heart of our family, really. They are so in love with each other as siblings. I've never seen a sibling relationship like it. We know a lot about birth mom, and it would not surprise me if she wanted to seek out birth mom well before the statutory age when they can. I just want to make sure that she knows from all of us that if she ever goes down that road, don't go down it alone. I can honestly say there's not a cigarette paper difference between how I feel about my two kids. The love for both is as unconditional and as powerful as it could be.
Really good to see that, you know, you can have a sibling through adoption, and that can be a really positive experience, not just for the children but for the whole family. Clearly they had difficulties in the beginning, but actually she says now it's like, you know, a really good, lovable story between the siblings. That's positive to see.
Pat and myself, I'd had quite a lot of miscarriages. I had 7 miscarriages before I had my daughter Chelsea. I had another 2 miscarriages. So me and Pat, we'd wanted a big family. We decided we'd like to go ahead and call social services. We got 2. We got Joy first. We got Joy when she was 1.5. We was told with Joy actually that Joy wouldn't be able to walk or talk. We're going to prove them wrong.
Your heart and you're going, yes and you're no, you're in and you're out, you're out and you're down. Look at that.
And this little girl is a normal, naughty, in-your-face little hyper 8-year-old little girl who's determined and always talks about, I want to be a surgeon. When my husband actually showed the picture of Joy, my husband actually cried a tear and did actually say, that's my daughter.
4th Bridge is to London Bridge and 153 is to Finsbury Park Station.
Alex came at least another 1.5 years, almost 2 years later. They're half brother and sister. Alex had all these problems, but in my head, I knew that I was determined to make him better. I know your social services, but you know something? I'm telling you that I can make him a bit better. And I did. Don't go in there, you know, thinking, you know, I want this perfect child. I've said to the people, if you're coming in there and you're thinking to yourself, I've come and get this perfect child, I think you need to take your handbags and your coats and I think you need to leave right now. It's about the child. Would I do it again? Yes, I would. Every day is a normal day. They're just 2 normal kids. I love being Joy and Alex's mum. When you've wanted a child for as long as I've wanted a child, Joy and Alex, they are my heart. They are my being. I just couldn't live my life without them.
What always surprises me in 9 years of doing this job, just how amazing adopters are and how much determination they have, and it feels like a privilege being able to read about their lives.
I agree, because the assessment, we assess them on their resilience, but I think sometimes they even outdo themselves in terms of what they feel they can take on and what they actually do manage to do, and really well as well.